procreate. They have spent a lot of time in the laboratories creating and manipulating beings. These small graves, these hive-minded, controlled alien races are all created beings. They're not naturally born beings. They're created, and they all have one mind, and it's the reptilian council, this Illuminati council that controls them all. And so you have very many different alien types of races because of this and their own crossbreeding. But I wanted to get back to this Orgone Act, was what I'm calling it, because I saw this in the codes a couple months ago, how they were going to pass legislation against orgone to make it illegal, and I've been warning about that eventually they're going to make orgone illegal. And the reason they're doing it is because it's so effective against them. It stops them in their tracks. So many people, I get emails from people talking about the towers going up in their areas, sometimes overnight. You're driving down the road one day and there's no towers, and it seems like the next day you're driving down and there's 2 or 3 towers that have gone up overnight. And I hear about this all the time from everybody. And at the same time, look at our society, folks. At the same time all these towers are going up, we're seeing a huge shift in our society in the way people think, the way they act, a huge push towards sexual perversions. And you know what? It used to be a thing towards pornography. And I used to warn people about going to pornographic websites on the internet because there's demons on those websites attached to them. And when people go to visit them, the demons that are attached to those websites can then be attached to the person, can attach themselves to the person that was on that website. And so you get all kinds of demons that way. People don't think it's possible, but it is. And another thing going on now is with these cell phone towers blasting all day long sexual perversions and making people think that, maybe men aren't that bad, maybe women aren't that bad, and they're turning into homosexuals and lesbians, and we got bisexualism, which is rampant across America. And then you have Hollywood working in conjunction with what these towers are doing. And so it's called voice-to-skull technology, and we're experiencing a lot of that. I know a lot of people, you're getting thoughts, you don't know where they're coming from, you figure it's just Satan attacking you. But you're living right under it. They're pounding it at you day and night, every second, every minute. Their perversions and how they want you to act and the things they want you to do. And so with the increase of these towers, we're going to see an increase of violent behavior across America and also sexual perversions. And that's almost like the last straw. The Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. He's not going to allow anybody to get worse than that, although we're going to get pretty close. And then he's going to destroy America and the other countries of the world that are falling in line with all of these perversions. And they just kind of go in hand. They go hand in hand, folks. And so this orgone defeats this technology. Get this orgone in your yards, your house, out where you see towers, and it minimizes the influence that these towers will have on the people in the surrounding area. And so that's another reason they hate the orgone, is because they've got $1 billion of technology, and we can defeat it with just orgone. And also the orgone doing so many things to their underground bases, and even their UFOs. I never even put 2 and 2 together that a heavily saturated orgoned area could explode a UFO until I started seeing UFOs explode. And you know what, I don't know, I never put that together until recently. And so sometimes the Lord just blinds your mind to things, and when it's the right time, then He'll open your mind up, and you'll realize what it is you've been seeing. I know He does that to me all the time, especially when I work in the Bible code. Sometimes I don't see things, or I'll see things, I don't know how to put it together, and then later it's like the light bulb goes off, and all of a sudden, there it is. And so it's one of these things with this House bill coming out, going after people, and I'll give you the definition of this. The definition of violent radicalization uses vague language to define this term of promoting any belief system that the government considers to be an extremist agenda to be illegal. And so it's really, it's more like a thought crime bill. It's one of the most blatant attacks against the Constitution. You've all seen that movie with Tom Cruise. Can't remember the name of it. I think it's Minority Report. Maybe that's not it. Maybe it's another one. But it's where you can be arrested just for having illegal thoughts, and illegal being defined by the government. And this bill goes against homegrown terrorism, what is defining as homegrown terrorism as thought crime. The bill includes the planned use of force or violence as homegrown terrorism, which could be interpreted as thinking about using force or violence. Not only that, the definition is so vaguely defined that petty crimes could even fall into the category of homegrown terrorism. Particularly alarming about this bill is that it mentions the Internet as the main source for terrorist propaganda. The bill mentions streams, an obvious reference to many of the patriot and pro-Constitution Internet radio networks that have been formed. It's attacking Internet radio. Homegrown terrorism being defined as the use, planned use, or threatened use of force or violence by a group or individual born, raised, or based and operating primarily within the United States or any possession of the United States to intimidate or coerce the United States government, the civilian population of the United States, or any segment thereof, in furtherance of political or social objectives. And it's like, huh? Yeah. What they're trying to do is, I found this extremely interesting. In one section of this, they actually use the term lone wolf as one of their targets. Examine and report upon the facts and causes of violent radicalization, homegrown terrorism, and ideologically based violence in the United States. Ideologically based. And that's just, folks, those are ideas, those are just people talking, and thought-based. Any lone wolf, violent radicalization, homegrown terrorism, ideologically based violence, and other phases of the phenomena of violent radicalization, homegrown terrorism, just goes on and on and on about this. And basically what it's after is to define any and all crimes, including thought crime, as a violent radicalization, homegrown terrorism. And so if you disagree with our government, then that's a thought crime. Because it's the government defining what exactly is a thought crime. And I don't think anybody wants this in the hands of George W. Bush can define anybody as a criminal according to his own definition. And you have somebody who's suffering from schizophrenia, hearing voices in his head, at the helm of our government, which is scary enough, let alone the person in charge that can decide who's a terrorist and who isn't. And of course we've seen this coming, because every Christian in the world is going to be considered a terrorist for not agreeing with the New World Order. And it's going to come down to more of a violent impact and approach. They're literally going to come after people, and I don't think there's a patriot in the country that doesn't already know this. But how many Christians are prepared to be hauled out of their homes and put on a plane and taken to a different country to stand trial? You know, I've seen this in the codes for ages, and so it really, really floored me. When last week, I don't know if any of you were paying attention to this whole Citibank fiasco, but there was stuff going around the internet about 3,000 people, officers of Citibank and a couple of other banks, being arrested and put on airplanes and flown out of the country. And that should be an eye-opener for a lot of people out there who still think we have a constitution in operation in America, because no way would that be constitutionally allowed without due process of law. I mean, how legal or constitutional is it for the government to arrest somebody, put them on a plane, and ship them out of the country to stand trial elsewhere? I mean, that's totally against the Constitution of America. And that's why the media isn't talking about it. And that's why it's so hard to confirm if this is even